Guys, we are back. Another one, another Thursday. I know everybody remembers what I said about this Saturday. I'm not too sure if we're going to do something or if we're just going to have set something up at the Christmas party or whatever. But this Saturday is my work's Christmas party. So more than likely, we won't be doing anything. I will be watching UFC 245, which is what we are here to talk about today. But I'm not too sure if we're going to be streaming anything. I'll have to check on that. So I see people filing in. I'm gonna check the sound, make sure everybody can hear me. Make sure I'm not completely talking to nothing. Completely talking. Yeah, there it is. Good deal. So yeah, I'm gonna jump right into it. The 245 card, the main card starts off with Peter Yan versus Uriah Faber. Everybody knows Faber's coming back. He retired back in December 2016 after a decision win over Brad Pickett. Came back, I think, July of 2019 in his hometown of Sacramento and got a TKO win over Ricky Simone, an upcoming prospect in that bantamweight division. He's 35-10, 27 out of 35 of his wins are via finish. He's only been knocked out 3 times. He's never been submitted in his career, and he's 7 for 7 on decisions. He's brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's wrestled for the University of California, Davis. Mike Perry becomes. No, I disagree. I think if Mike Perry wants to become a champion, he needs to go down to 155, and his diet probably doesn't. And I love Mike Perry. He's one of my top 5 favorite fighters at the moment, but I think Mike Perry needs to go to 155 if he wants to win a title. You could just see like him next to like Darren Till and like people like that, and like let's just say him like against Usman or fucking like the grappling of Usman Covington or something like that. I need to see Perry's grappling skills. I think he's a bit small. He's not like the smallest guy at 170, but I think he's a little bit small for 170. And on top of that, I think his grappling is not where it needs to be. And at 155, all you need to worry about grappling is Khabib. At 170, you got to worry about Usman, Covington, Damian Maia if they throw that your way. Fucking, there's a shit ton of grapplers at 170. And, it's going to be tough for him. If facing a guy that's not a grappler right now, and Jeff Neal, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So it could be a good stepping stone for him, but, he fights a grappler, and it's going to be tough. I really hope that he's in the gym not training striking anymore because he's a beast striking. I hope he's in the gym straight training, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, shit like that, trying to defend, takedown defense. I know your boy Covington's fighting. I know you're happy to see him fight. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I don't got Covington, man. I know you're not going to like that, but I think Covington will fall short in a split decision. I think it's going to be a very close fight. If they decide to grapple, it's going to be extremely close. I'm not too sure who's going to take it if they decide to grapple as far as the exchanges, but I think overall, keeping it standing, striking, he's going to way outstrike him. And then, if they do get to the ground, I don't think it's going to be one-sided for Covington. I think it's definitely going to be a back-and-forth scramble for the entire duration that they are on the ground. So, Usman, I like Usman in that fight. But Peter Yan, 13-1, 5-0 in the UFC. He's got wins over Douglas Silva, De Andrade, John Dodson, and Jimmy Rivera. 6 out of 13 of his wins are finishes. He's never been finished in his career. His only loss was a split decision loss to Magomed Magomedov, who for the ABC bantamweight title, or ACB, sorry, in December 2016. He then avenged that one loss in April of 2017, just a couple months later, as he took the title from Magomedov via unanimous decision. So the one loss he has on his career, he avenged already. It's tough for him, It's tough. It's tough to say anybody's going to beat Peter Yan. He's like they called him the Russian Mike Tyson. He's got knockout power. I think he's got a lot of decisions under his belt, so I'm not going to necessarily jump to straight calling him the Russian Mike Tyson because I don't really agree with that yet until I see some, stellar fucking knockouts and fucking Faber gets less. See, I'm going to get into right now why I don't think that's the case. I think Peter Yan, while he is a great striker, he does have heavy hands. He is a tad bit smaller than Faber, I believe, if I remember correctly. Just, kind of width-wise, body shape-wise. Faber's a little bit bigger than him. And Faber's got amazing grappling, dude. If he gets him to the ground, it's going to be a long night for Peter Yan. And I think we've seen a tremendous improvement in Uriah Faber's striking from when he retired in 2016 to when he came back just this past July. When he knocked out Ricky Simone, we've seen clear evidence that he has improved his striking. And, that could help him set up shots to get it to the ground. And if he gets to the ground, I seriously think he'll drag out a decision win over Peter Yan, bringing him closer to the title. I'm going to pick just based off bias. It's completely off bias with me because I like that story. I like the, retired 2016 without ever winning the title. Sees the opportunity to come back 2019, 3 years later, takes it, wins a fight on a prospect, wins a second fight on on one of the top dudes in the division. Boom, next fight they give him like winner of Jose Aldo, Marlon Moraes. He beats that guy, boom, fighting for the title. You know what I'm saying? 3 fights back after retiring, and he's fighting for the title already. I think it would be awesome. Amazing. And it's a great matchup with him and Cejudo, so I think that's also another clutch factor. Oh, man. I fucking way missed it. The Jets just missed a field goal. They're down 7-0 against the Ravens right now. Badly missed a field goal, too. But, no, I don't think he gets slept, man. I think I got Uriah in that fight. I got Uriah favored by decision. Next fight would be Marlon Moraes, Jose Aldo, we just talked about. Moraes 22-6, 4-2 in the UFC. Lost debut to Rafael Assunção, who he then avenged that loss, I think, in February 2019. He lost split decision in his debut, and then he won by guillotine choke back in February. His most recent fight was a loss to Henry Cejudo for the bantamweight title. He's got wins or notable wins over Shaman Rise, Tyson Nam, and Miguel Torres, all in World Series of Fighting. And then John Dodson, Rafael Assunção, Aljamain Sterling, and Jimmy Rivera all inside UFC Octagon. So big names in, big names out of the Octagon. He's got big wins throughout his entire career. He's no shy guy to the limelight. I don't know how I would have put me on the spot there, but I could have worded that better. But he's used to having the lights on him. He's used to fighting big fights, being in the big moment. UFC 245 is probably the biggest card of the year. I don't think that's going to weigh on him at all. I think he fights in a lot of big fights, a lot of serious opponents. Jose Aldo coming down to 135 for his debut at bantamweight is another just huge fight for him. If he beats him, he adds legend to his career of people he's beaten. Aldo's 28-5, 17 out of those 28 wins are via TKO or knockout. He's 10-1 in decisions. His only UFC losses are to Max Holloway twice, Alexander Volkanovski, which was his last fight back in May, and then of course we all remember that 6-second knockout to Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor fight. We never really got to see I really want to see the rematch because we never get to see anybody get going. We never seen anything. We've seen Aldo, who was very emotional leading up to the fight, extremely emotional. Conor McGregor kind of punked him, if you will, a bunch of times leading up to it. So he's very emotional. He wants to hurt the guy really bad, kind of in like a Khabib way. But only difference between Khabib and Jose was Khabib got really mad and then took that as, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to get the takedown. And once I get the takedown, then I'm going to let my emotions come out. Then I'm going to beat him up and I'm going to start talking to him and shit like that. So it wasn't as necessarily the same as Aldo. Aldo got so mad that he just rushed in and tried to blitz him, throwing wild ass left hook, wild straight right, and just missed. And both those punches missed. Bow, got caught right in the chin. I don't think he gets slept again faster. I think if he does faster, they both would have to literally sprint across the octagon and then knockout, which I don't think would happen. I think if the rematch comes to fruition, I think not 6 seconds. It was 13 seconds, wasn't it? I was wrong about 6 seconds. 13-second knockout. So maybe it could happen faster than 13 seconds, but I doubt it. I doubt Aldo will try to rush that fast, that early in the fight if they fought again. I think he would definitely try to stay on the outside, use his distance, and try to catch him with leg kicks early. I think that's the biggest thing to beat Conor McGregor with is Conor McGregor has a very wide karate stance. I always talk about the wide karate stances. leans a lot on their back leg. That means their front leg is kind of sticking out a little further, but they're leaning a lot on their back leg. So if you eat at that front leg, the one that's just supposed to be sitting there, that leg is gone. So all your mobility, right to left, all that shit's gone because you can't. There's no stepping with that leg if it's that badly kicked, that badly fucked up, you know. So that being said, you take that mobility away, that's going to make him want to switch stances to try to gain a little mobility, come around the octagon more, you know, and you switch that stance. Now you're on your back leg, the one you're supposed to put most pressure on. That's the leg that's fucked up. He won't be able to do that for long. He'll go back to this way. Aldo keep eating up that leg. That's the way to beat him. That's the way Justin Gaethje would beat him. That's the way Aldo, if he was smart, would beat him. There's a bunch of fighters that would beat him that way. I just think that kind of Jose really didn't want to exploit that. Khabib's not that type of fighter. Khabib's going to take him down and drag him out. So anybody we've seen fight kind of like that, you know, Eddie Alvarez, not heavy on leg kicks. Mendez, not heavy on leg kicks. He's a wrestler. Holloway, not heavy on leg kicks. Dennis Seaver, not heavy on leg kicks. Poirier, not heavy on leg kicks. Nobody he's really fought is a heavy leg kicker. So being a favorite over Cowboy is very surprising, especially 170. I heard that Dana said it was basically a 155 fight. They just didn't want to cut the weight. And I said last week that I thought it was a little bit of an advantage for Cowboy. Now I don't think so. Now I think that, I've seen some shit recently from Conor McGregor. And I think McGregor, with the however long he's been taking off from fighting, got a little heavy, got like 200 or so pounds. So I think he figured the cut to 155 would hurt him more than it would help him as far as size-wise. So I think the 170 is going to be he's actually going to be a lot more filled out in that 170 frame. So I don't think really the size differential will be much of a factor there. So I think McGregor definitely did get a lot bigger since the last time he was in the octagon. But, Cerrone's fought at 170 a shit ton more than Conor. I'm telling you right now, I've seen maybe not now. I mean, he started training again, so he's probably lost a little weight. But I'm telling you, I've seen him when he was definitely not. I promise you that guy's like 190 right now, 185, 190 maybe right now. Even after training and shit, you see a picture of him. This dude's chest, people's chest when you get cut, when you're lightweight and you're just really strong in your chest, you have cut muscles. It goes. Your chest stays the same size, but it gets cut in here and shit like that, so you could see the chest more. His chest went like this, lifted up. His chest lifted up. He's got broad ass shoulders now. I'm telling you, it's. I think when he took off, I'm not saying he got fat or anything. I'm just saying when he took that year or so off, I think he spent a lot more time focusing on, lifting, like maybe not lifting either, just doing like weight training and getting a lot bulkier in his body frame. I don't know if he put it on his Instagram, where I think I just seen it on Twitter or some shit. Somebody else posted it, but I definitely seen him get a shit ton bigger, man. And I would not be surprised if he got past 200, maybe 200, 205 or so, just weightlifting, eating good. He's not trying to diet or anything. When I'm talking about like when he was off for the year. So like I'm talking about like 9 months ago and shit like that, like 8 months ago, when he's eating whatever he wants. There's no weight cut, no shit like that. He's lifting all the time. Pretty sure in those pictures that I seen, he was about 200 pounds. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was like 195 or so, but definitely not 180. If he was fighting, all right, if this guy's 180 walking around, 180 solid walking around, even after this year off, if he's only 180 and he only has 10 pounds to cut this entire time, for this entire past year, he knew he was going to fight at 170. He's only had 10 pounds cut all the time. I think he's going to get fucked up. I think that's where the size is going to fuck him up, because I'm telling you, Cerrone's bigger than that. Maybe not by much, but Cerrone's definitely a little bigger than that. But no, I think minimum probably like 190, 192, 5, somewhere in there, as far as what he got up to out of fight camp when he was taking that year off or whatever. But enough from McGregor. I can't stand talking about Conor McGregor. You always got me talking about Conor McGregor. I can't stand the guy. We always get on him because we're talking about Aldo and fucking Cerrone and all that shit. But I hope he does good on his comeback. I don't hope he wins. I heard two options. I heard if he wins, they're going to give him the Khabib rematch, which I don't want because I don't want. It's just a waste of time, man. He's never going to beat Khabib in his entire life. And the other option was Conor McGregor himself said if he loses at 170, the reason he wants to fight this fight at 170 is because if he loses, he wants to have a chance at Jorge Masvidal. And I think that is even worse beating than what Khabib would do to him. So I'm fucking down. I'm down for it. I don't even like dislike him or anything. Like as a person, I don't know him as a person or nothing like that. It's just that shit talking. Like I want to see Colby get beat up too. I don't like it. I don't like that. Like you shit talking, you don't take it the right way. Like Chael Sonnen was a good shit talker. He was good shit talker. He didn't take it too far. He may have talked about like Brazil and like Silva's wife and shit like that. And he took it too far a little bit, but he don't take it too far every single time he opens his mouth. You know what I mean? Kobe shtick is bullshit. And he even announced that it was bullshit, which Chael probably told him that's a number one no-no. You don't come out, especially while he's still fighting, and admit that your shtick is a shtick. You fucking play it out until you're done. He came out and said it was fake. He said he was going to get cut from the UFC, and he had to do that to keep his job. Not the route, dude. Not the route. No authenticity. You know, you can get around to liking Colby Covington. Even though he's a douche all the time, you can get around to liking him because he's real, because that's his real attitude. But if it's not his real attitude and you just see it's fake, now you're being a douche and you're being fake about it. You know what I'm saying? You hear all these stories about Dustin Poirier and Jorge Masvidal saying they lend their hand out to him. They let him stay in their apartment. They let him do this. They let him do that. He had his back here. He had his back there. And then now he's talking shit about those people because he wants to keep his job. That's why, because you want to keep your job. It's fake ass shit, man. I can't respect that. I can't get down with that. Nah, Covington won't sleep. Covington, I don't think would sleep anybody, dude. I think Covington sleep fucking nobody. Maybe Ben Askren or some shit. But definitely ain't sleeping Usman. He might put me to sleep by wrestling him the whole time and holding him down the whole time. He could do that. I don't think the wrestling is that far apart between those two, but he could do that. He could put me to sleep by just hugging him the whole time and not letting go and just wanting him to just fucking wrestle to a decision. I would get so fucking mad if that fight goes like that. And I'm gonna be drunk and fucking smoking weed and shit like that. So I'm gonna be really fucking mad if that happens. But hold on, I'll get to the Kobe fight in a minute. Amanda Nunes, Jermaine Duraname for the women's bantamweight title. Nunes, the champ, 135, 145. Won her 135-pound title against Miesha Tate, UFC 200 in 2016. Defended it against Ronda Rousey, Valentina Shevchenko, Raquel Pennington, and then most recently against Holly Holm. The defense against Holly Holm was after she won the featherweight title against Cyborg. 18-4, 13 out of 18 of her wins are via TKO or knockout. She only has 4 losses. One was her debut submission loss to Anne Maria India. And I'm talking about her debut, like her professional debut, like back in Brazil, where the fuck she started fighting at. She has a TKO loss to Alexis Davis in Strikeforce, a decision loss to Sarah D'Aleo and Invicta, and her only UFC loss is a TKO loss to Kat Zingano in her 3rd UFC fight. It's very early in her career. She's on a 9-fight winning streak at the moment, including when she won the title and then on to all the defenses and fucking featherweight champion now and shit. Yeah, Nunes Valentina. I think it's happened a few times actually. No, maybe it's just happened once. Yeah, Amanda beat Valentina already. Valentina tried to. That's why Valentina eventually went down to 125 because they didn't have the 125-pound division at the time. So Valentina was at 135, and Valentina got the title fight. I think. Yeah, got the title fight and then lost to Nunes. And then it was shortly after that they opened up that 125-pound division. Because you remember at one time it was just 135, 115. Excuse me. And they had to add that 125-pound division in there. Now Valentina runs that shit. But yeah, Nunes definitely beat Shevchenko already. Jermaine Duraname is 9-3. She won her vacant 145-pound title against Holly Holm, which is very controversial because she had those 2 shots after. She won a unanimous decision, so it was a decision. Went to the cards. She had 2 shots at the end of the first and the second round where she hit. I think at the end of the first round, it was like 2 punches after the bell. And then at the end of the second round, it was 1 punch after the bell. But, dude, those are 2 points taken easy, dude. Even if the first one's a warning, that's definitely a point taken on the second one. So kind of weird how she won the featherweight title there against Holly Holm. Then she vacated the title. Nunes would sleep Henry Cejudo. I can't argue. I ain't gonna argue. Not one bit. Henry Cejudo's a little fuck, man. And you could say this person sleep, this person sleep, and I'll disagree if I disagree. But I think Cejudo gets slept by fucking my little sister, man. This dude's a little fuck. He's a little 5'3", fucking spiky haired bitch. You know what I mean? Nah, I can't say that. I'm just kidding, Cejudo, but he's just I don't like that shtick neither. I don't like the whole he was the humble guy. He was when he did the Ultimate Fighter with Joey Benavidez. Joey Benavidez was the loud guy. He was the guy trying to make publicity for the Ultimate Fighter, and Cejudo was just like, yeah, just being like the smooth, nice fucking. Then you got your ass beat by Benavidez, and then now he wins the title, and he's all Mr. Shit Talk, and Mr. fucking brings fake ass snakes on stage and smacks them against the ground with a crown on his head and shit, tossing the snake hitting the people in the crowd with the snake and shit. It's just stupid, man. This guy's stupid. Just gotta be. It's just so cringy. And I guess like the king of cringe thing. I hear you, bro. If that's the angle you want to go, that's just not. I wouldn't do it. If I wouldn't do it, I probably don't like the guy. So I definitely wouldn't do it. She then vacated the featherweight title to Cyborg. She's 2-0 since vacating the title with a decision win over Raquel Pennington and a TKO win over Aspen Ladd on the Sacramento card that Uriah Faber was on. That also was controversial, not because she was definitely out for a minute. Aspen Ladd was definitely out, looking the other way. And the problem that I have with people saying that it was controversial is that it would be because she didn't look like she was out. It would be controversial if she like got sat down and then immediately looked back and flipped and got in like guard or something, like put her guard up or some shit. You know what I mean? But she didn't. She kind of looked and she was just staring at the ground for like a solid 2 seconds and then looked back up. And by the time she's looking back up, the referee's already grabbing Durandame because she doesn't want to. The referee doesn't want her to get hit mad times with her fucking head down. You know what I mean? So I understand why the referee stopped it, but I don't ever think she lost consciousness. I think she kind of just got dazed a little bit. And it was kind of like they treated it like a walk-off knockout. So, I mean, that's the only reason I would call it controversial because that's not what it was at all. It was kind of, if anything, I would call it a TKO that she never followed up on. You know what I mean? It's not nor here nor there anyway. She will be fighting for the bantamweight title against Amanda Nunes. Probably going to get her shit knocked in. I got Nunes by knockout. Brings us to the co-main. Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, 145-pound title. Max Holloway's 21-4, 14-fight winning streak at the moment in featherweight. He beat Anthony Pettis for the interim title in 2016. Then he beat Aldo for the title. Then he beat him in the rematch. Beat the shit out of Brian Ortega. And then he went up to 155 to fight Poirier for the interim 155 title. Lost that fight, came back down, beat Frankie Edgar for another title defense. 10 out of 21 of his wins are via knockout, and he has never been knocked out in his career. I have a short story to tell about Brian Ortega really quick because, and you know, it's not nothing bad about Brian Ortega, but he posted a video. He recently pulled out of his fight in South Korea against Korean Zombie from what I thought was what I was told originally was a serious leg injury. So I looked a little bit more into it, talked to some people. I was told that it was a serious knee injury. So serious knee injuries to me in my mind say torn MCL, torn ACL, torn LCL. You know, something's torn. He's going to be on crutches. He's going to need surgery, yada, yada. His legs pretty much just hanging there. You know what I mean? At the knee. So I seen a video this morning of him getting a stripe on his black belt at his jiu-jitsu school. First thing I'm thinking is, why are you at jiu-jitsu practice if you should be getting surgery? If you're like, you know, you should be on crutches, you should be getting surgery. Why are you there? Then I see him walking, maybe like a stink of a limp, like a tiny little limp, maybe. You know what I mean? So I immediately shared it and said, yo, when was this video taken? Like when, how recent was this? And if this is recent, why would he pull out of the fight? You know what I mean? Why would he pull out? And he doesn't look like he's limping that hard, yada, yada. And somebody commented and said, this is recent. They just posted it. So I immediately said, I don't want to be like that guy, but like, didn't he like tear something in his knee? Like he fucked his knee up really bad. Like he should be having surgery and shit. Pull out the card. And somebody corrected me immediately. Said no, he doesn't have a full tear. He has a partial tear. He can't fight because it runs him a chance of fully tearing it and then needing surgery. Partial tear doesn't need surgery. It needs time to rest it. Just so it heals back. And they said he's not training in jiu-jitsu. They just told him he was going to get a stripe. They brought him in to get a stripe. So he's sitting there with his class. I mean, you sit there. You can still go to class and watch class. Just fucking learn. Try to learn mentally and not participate. You know what I mean? So I can understand that. Then what happened was Lauren Murphy, a UFC fighter, Lauren Murphy, and this other fucking jiu-jitsu girl got on there and started telling me I was talking shit about him and you put in quotations, knee injury, you were being smart about it, yada yada. So I reached out to Brian. I told him, hey man, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if it's a problem to you. I just wanted to clear the air with you right now, man to man. I wasn't talking shit. I didn't know what your injury was, so I was looking for information. I was looking for somebody to tell me, hey, this is what it is. This is old, whatever the case is. I was just looking for information. I didn't mean any ill will towards you, yada, yada. And that's what I kept trying to tell the Lauren Murphy and the other girl was that I wasn't meaning to talk shit. If that's what it sounded like, I could see the quotations why you would think it sounds like I'm talking shit, but I wasn't talking shit about the guy. I was completely just trying to look for information. He pulled out of a card that is 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away when he pulled out. And and I seen a video of him walking just fine on what was a serious knee injury. So I wanted to know. Apparently that labels me as talking shit. I reached out to Brian. Let's see if he reaches back out. I don't know what his stance is going to be, if he's going to be upset about it or not. But, I didn't want him to. Yeah, okay. My whole thing was I didn't want him to see it and then think like, oh, look at this douchebag talking shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Lauren Murphy's got my back and shit like that. Like, it's not how it was, man. I wasn't talking shit about the guy. I was completely just looking for information. I thought about the same thing, Greg. I'm not going to lie. I thought about, like, this guy gets mad and gets all worked up and shit like that. I'm not scared of him. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm in the media. I'm part of the media. I work for 3 different websites. 2 of them, I mean, in fact, all 3 of them pretty big in the MMA scene. So I have to stay somewhat professional out here. I can't just be going around saying, fuck this guy, fuck this guy, fuck this guy. I wasn't being like that when I first posted it. So, I won't be like that now. I won't be any kind of mean to the guy now that all this shit is blown up. I don't know if Lauren Murphy knows him or if they train together or whatever the case is, but, it's a big misunderstanding as far as their parts. And I could have swore we had it under control because as soon as that guy wrote, it's a full tear, I said, oh, yeah. I was thinking it was major. I thought it was like a full tear. I thought he'd be on crutches, have surgery, yada, yada. And I put that. And after that, they came on there, started attacking, saying that I was talking shit and stuff like that. So I really didn't see where they were coming from there. But it is what it is. That's my fun story about Brian Ortega from today. Brian, if you ever watch this, 30 minutes in, I fucking doubt that you'd be listening to this shit for 30 minutes. But if you ever do listen to it, I wasn't talking shit, man. Sorry if you feel that way, but I wasn't. I really wasn't talking shit. I was just simply looking for answers, looking for if the video was new or old. And if it was new, what's the deal with your knee? What kind of injury do you have? And that's the information that I got. It was a very recent video, and they told me what your injury was. So I got the information I was looking for. Anything else, can't call it, man. I got Holloway by decision. I know it's a title fight, and it'll go 5 rounds. I know Holloway will last 5 rounds. I'm not too sure about Alexander Volkanovski. So I got Holloway by decision, which brings us to the main event. Greg's probably really pumped to talk about this one. Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman for the welterweight title. Everybody knows Kamaru Usman just won his title via decision win over Tyron Woodley back in March. He's 15-1, 9-0 in the UFC. Before he won the title, 15-1. So he's 10-0 in the UFC now because he won the title. Before he won Oh no, his one loss in his career was to Jose. All right, this is where it gets tricky here as far as MMA math with Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman. Usman's one loss was via submission to Jose Caceres in his second pro fight ever, not in the UFC. Covington beat Jose Caceres. Usman win streak includes Haider Hassan, Leon Edwards, Alexander Yaklov, Sean Strickland, Sergio Moraes, Emil Mick, Damian Maia, RDA, and Warley Alves. The reason that that's a big make it stand out in your brain is because Covington's one loss in his career is a submission loss to Warley Alves. So the person that beat Covington by submission, Usman beat. The person that beat Usman by submission, Covington beat. So it evens itself out right there. They have the same amount of decision wins. They both beat Damian Maia, and that fight got them the RDA fight, which they both beat RDA. Which in return, which actually RDA was the interim title fight for Covington. So if so facto, that they went Damian Maia, RDA, fight for the title. So Usman went Maia, RDA, Woodley for the title. Covington went Maia, RDA for the interim. Now he's fighting Usman for the title. So I don't know. It's weird how the UFC works shit like that out. I know you're going to say you want Covington. I don't think he out wrestles him. I talked about a lot of it earlier. I don't think that Covington can out wrestle Usman. And I think when they're standing up, Usman will fuck Covington up standing up, just like he did Tyron Woodley. I don't think the striking is close, to be completely honest. But yeah, I got Usman. I think it's going to be a decision, though. I think it's going to be they're going to go all the way, just like they went in the Woodley fight. You know, Covington's got good gas, so I don't think he's going to gas out and get TKO'd or anything like that. So I'm going to say it goes all the way. Which brings us to the rest of the card. We were talking about Mike Perry earlier. He'll be fighting Jeff Neal on this card. Keatlin Vieira versus Irian Aldana. Sorry. Ian Heinisch versus Omari Ekalov. Matt Brown versus Ben Saunders. Matt Brown coming back out of retirement. I think he retired maybe a year ago, 2 years ago or so. Chase Hooper's making his UFC debut against Daniel Tamar. Brandon Moreno's fighting Kai Kara France. Jessica I's fighting Vievre Arjo. And then Paulini Serrano is fighting Oscar Piota. And Paulini is also making his UFC debut from the Contender Series, getting his contract on the Contender Series. So two UFC debuts. Mike Perry's always a good fight. Covington, Usman, Holloway, Volkanovski, Nunes, Jermaine Duranere, Peter Yan, Uriah Faber. Fucking mad good card fights on this card. I'll be watching the entire thing. Jose Aldo, Marlon Moraes. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to miss anybody. But I'll be watching the entire card front to back. We got basically how my Christmas party works for my work is we go to a work Christmas party that's at like it's at a place, you know what I mean? Whatever. Fucking a bar or it's at fucking Dave and Buster's this year. So we go to that. I'll be watching it on my phone because they probably won't have it on the TV. So I'll be watching it on my phone the whole time we're there. And then we'll probably leave there around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then we go to our boss's house, who's not our boss, but he's like a boss. And we have a Christmas party there, and that's a banging ass Christmas party. And then I could put it on my laptop and put it on the TV. We could watch it on the TV and shit. So whole card front to back I'll be watching. I'm very excited about it. And if I don't see you this Saturday, if we don't try to throw something together, maybe just fucking walk through the party with the video or some shit just to show people how we do at the Christmas party. If not, we'll be back next Thursday to preview and break down the main card on the UFC South Korea card, the one that Brian Ortega was supposed to be on, but will now be Frankie Edgar versus the Korean Zombie. Until next Thursday, guys, I appreciate you guys coming. Greg, always good to talk to you. See you guys next week, man. Out.